Hey, what's going on, guys? This is CJ here from Three Black Geeks, and I am here with the awesome and excellent Marko Zaror. Am I saying that correct?
Yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Doing good. Congratulations on John Wick 4 and Fist of Condor. Love both of those films. It's kind of interesting. I had came out of seeing John Wick 4 some weeks back, and when I saw you in the film, I was like, he looks very familiar. And I realized the first movie I seen you in was Undisputed 3.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was my very first movie I seen you in. So it's like you see so many movies over the years and you see certain actors in those films and it just like clicks in like, oh, that's where I remember him in. So I guess my first question is what has this journey been from you from the time you've gotten to this industry up to today? Like just is it kind of surreal that this is where you're at right now?
Yeah, well, you never imagine something like this. You just go and try to stay honest with your journey and your path, and you try to kind of keep doing what you love to do, and of course, I look and I go, wow, it's just amazing, man. I'm so happy, so grateful. Um, I still remember back in Chile when I was, I don't know, 15 years old, and I was training in my backyard and doing some kicks and like watching movies, like
Mhm.
being a fan, and I feel I have never lost that feeling of being a fan.
Mhm.
I'm still a fan. I get excited.
Yeah.
I get excited, and every time I'm on set, I'm so happy to be there and sharing with people, and it's totally something that you just have to learn how to take it in and be grateful. I guess that's my take.
Yeah. I had saw on your IG that you actually did a stunt double for the Rock and the Rundown. How did you manage to get in that position for that role?
Yeah, that was when I first got to LA. I went to train to LA Valley College, and there
Mhm.
was a lot of stunt people training there. And after years of training there, Andy Cheng came to me and said, "Marco, you want to do stunts?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then he was like, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
suddenly I'm like doubling the rock on the rundown. It was crazy. Uh, I was at that moment I was teaching martial arts and the Valley Total Fitness in Hollywood,
Mhm.
and that was a big thing for me because I needed to quit my job, and it was like that big break. And the thing is, it was tough because in that moment I didn't have the visa to do that type of work. I had only like a regular visa.
Mhm.
So they didn't want to let me work on
Mhm.
the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So they did a big audition to replace me, and I didn't want to like. I was like, Andy, thank you, man, but I don't want to put you in trouble. I was like, no, 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 don't worry. So I went through a whole process to prove that I was the one that could do that job. So it was crazy, man. It was I remember it was a tough one, but it was a beautiful experience, and working with Andy Cheng and learning how he filmed and how the process of making a fight scene. That was my first like big school of how to make a martial arts film,
Mhm.
how to shoot a film, how to shoot a fight scene. And then I grabbed that experience and I took it to Chile, and I started doing my own independent films.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that was amazing experience, man. Sharing with The Rock, he was so cool. And well, I met JJ, very very amazing martial artist, friend,
Mhm.
stuntman, so it's a very very cool experience, man.
um, you know, back to what I was mentioning, that seeing you in Undisputed 3, like, I it's kind of amazing seeing like how that series, the movies kind of evolve from like the very first movie and then kick into the sequel with Scott Atkins and Michael Jai White, and then boom, you're in the third one. So was there a sense of nervousness? Because like in that third one, you're like one of the main antagonists in that film. You're going against Scott Atkins and stuff. So was there a sense of nervousness kind of going into that, or were you just like, no, this is you were kind of at ease in that film?
Well, yeah, no, I'm like, for me, it was like I saw Undisputed 2,
Mm,
and I was like, this is the type of movie I would love to do. You know
mm,
what I'm saying? So it's like, look, this is what I want. So then when I get the call, when I got the call, it was like, of course, you get that little adrenaline because you get that little competition.
yeah,
Scott
yeah,
Adkins is an amazing martial artist. So you go, wow, let's do it. So
yeah,
then I would start seeing his videos and his stuff. I'm like, oh man, he's good. So the first
yeah.
time we encountered was like we're like looking at each other, like but then we connect right away. We became really good friends, and
Mhm.
he's just an amazing martial artist and a very cool, guy. So we connect right away, and we just wanted to do the best fighting possible, the best movie possible.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was definitely a movie that had like a lot of martial artists in that film. I think Lateef Crowder was in that movie as well, and just it was insane. Like how much, with you and Atkins being the two guys that you're fighting and stuff. Like how much was it? Was it kind of fun, kind of going through the fight scenes with them, like before y'all actually filmed, leading up to that?
Was what do you mean, the rehearsal?
No, yeah, like kind of like the rehearsal process of kind of like going through how you guys were filming that whole fight scene between you two.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we were rehearsing every day, man, and we were like, every time we had a little moment, like, hey, what are you doing? Okay, I got 10 minutes. Let's meet downstairs, and we're like going through the thing.
Mhm.
But I remember the first rehearsal, man. I hit him hard, like crazy. I thought that was it. I'm going back to Chile or whatever,
Yeah.
because I was doing a double spinning back kick in the air. Like I was jumping, doing like a fake kick, and then continue with the spin hook kick.
Mhm.
And for some reason, it was a timing issue where he went down on the first kick, and then he came up for the spinning hook kick.
Mm.
Boom! I got him right in the face, and man, my heel hurt.
Ooh.
I was like, this is not good. And he just shake a little bit. He took it in. He spit some teeth. Like I think I cracked some of his teeth like this.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I'm good. And I'm like, wow, now this guy, he is legit. That's when I knew, okay, Scott Adkins is legit.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, man. And that was like our first experience rehearsing. But then, man, no, the movie is cool because you have a real martial artist that is pushing himself. And he's like, boom, like
Yeah.
really wanted to do the best. So we're like, yeah, okay, hit it. Like, just hit it, boom, like we wanted to have that connection, that impact.
Yeah, because those movies since the second one, like the second one, third one, and fourth one, they all have a level of intensity to them that's just like, okay, this is actually, like you said, this is up to my speed. I can actually do this. So that was, yeah, seeing both of you guys go at it in that fight was actually pretty dope. That's probably like definitely one of my favorite fights if I had to really like rank it up there as such. You doing John Wick 4 and now, well, actually, let's go into Fist of Condor. Doing that film, how was it like, your character, you're playing twins. So how did you go about kind of, trying to do a deferring with like the demeanors of both of these characters? Because it's very easy to be like, oh, they're twins, but they kind of are basically the same. So I guess my question is, was it hard or easy to kind of be able to act as these twins in very different ways? Because one character acts one way and there's another, your other, I guess the brother is more ruthless in his own way. So was it kind of easy or hard for you to actually kind of balance those two characteristics?
Yeah, well, what I love about that is like it's fun. It's fun to explore those personalities and take them a little bit to the edge. You know what I'm saying? To
Hmm.
go from one side to another, and it's fun. And I'm looking forward to continue doing it. We want to keep telling the story. I think there's so much to tell on this universe of Fist of the Condor, and the story, this backstory of these two brothers, right?
Yeah.
So of course it's fun, and I want to do that fight scene. I want to do that. Like that's gonna be a nice challenge.
Yeah.
And of course, you have one that is very sarcastic and it's more playful, right?
Mhm.
And then the other one is such a like focus and like. But we always have these things on us. In
Yeah.
some situations in life, we are more playful. We can be another situations we can be very like straightforward. So
Yeah.
it's just
Focused. Yeah.
so then so it's how you explore these two sides and then how you can have fun with it.
Yeah. How did you
It's-
how did you end up landing in Fist the Condor? Was it like kind of like around the same time you were kind of doing John Wick 4, or was it like prior to?
no, it was prior. Feast of the Condor was during pandemic, wasn't the
Oh,
corona?
okay. Okay.
Yeah. So we did that movie, and then kind of like I showed the trailer around, and then I actually sent the trailer to some friends, and one of them was JJ Perry, that he made the connection for me with Chad Stahelski for the John Wick movie, and then when I got that movie, it was like wow, and then it's like well, let's put out there the Fist of the Condor as a film, because at the beginning we wanted to put it as a series because we didn't know what was going on after COVID. We
Oh
thought
yeah. Yeah.
this is it for the movie industry. So
Yeah.
I did that movie very in an honest way of expressing myself as a martial artist and to just do this love letter to the genre, right?
Mhm.
But we didn't know what was going to happen with this movie or with this project,
Mhm.
And then when John Wick happened, then was kind of like reorganized and it kind of like organized everything for me, for us, and go, okay, now just let's put it out there as a movie because this is picking up again, and
Mhm.
so it just happens.
Yeah. For you being inside the industry, what has it been like to see kind of evolution of how people are able to put out films? Because it used to be, if you wanted to put out a film, you had to go through the Hollywood system, and now we're at a stage where you could put out your movie on YouTube and Tubi and all these different platforms to where it's more widespread. So, what has that been like for you to kind of see that evolution of how you're able to put out a product now compared to what it was before?
Yeah, well, the thing is today there's so much elements. You have the internet that you can just do a video with your phone
Yeah.
and it looks amazing, and you have these editing systems that you can just put like a if you have good creativity and you can practice and make a little short film with your phone and edit it in your computer and put it up there for the people to see.
Mhm.
This is crazy. We
Oh
didn't
yeah.
have
Yeah.
this. We didn't have this, and I encourage people to just do it.
Mhm.
And that's kind of the same message that we got from like Robert Rodriguez. Like he was the first one that was pushing to just go out there and just shoot. And that's how he started his career. Like he just did this little movie El Mariachi,
Mhm.
and man, he just blowed everybody's mind, and he kind of encouraged us to go and just do it and not wait for this perfect scenario. So now imagine with all the elements we have, if you want to start on this, just grab your phone and try and do and make a little short, tell a story, see if you can tell a story from A to B
Mhm.
in 10 minutes. And if you can engage, if it's fun, and then you try, you'll make a mistake and then you get better.
Mhm.
But then how you get better and better, suddenly you start seeing people that, hey, they love what you're doing. You
Mhm.
start adding viewers and people start getting to know you, and then you never know. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Action is a dream with action, with
Yeah.
with doing what you love to do, not just think that you love and then not do anything about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you were mentioning Fist of the Condor. Yeah, the movie definitely has a lot of elements of throwback martial arts films because I watched a lot of martial arts films as a kid, all the way through high school, the young adult up to now, and I think that's one of those things, like you said, you find something that can actually grab a person to watch your material, and that's what grabbed me, seeing your character, all these characters and these different personalities in this film, and seeing the journey of the lead character. So I definitely enjoyed that. Like, how was it for you with this film to kind of like do? Did you have any involvement in the choreography for this, or was it?
Yeah, well, I did all the choreography,
Okay.
and the Fist of the Condor is basically my notes as a martial artist from my life journey,
Oh, okay.
philosophy, nutrition, training. So in the Fist of the Condor, we had to come up with the new style. I gotta put my real training into the movie, my
Okay.
real philosophy, my real like nutrition. Everything you see in the Fist of the Condor is kind of like a life. I tried to stay as much as honest as I could as a martial artist
Mhm.
to put in this movie
Yeah.
because that was my whole point. I thought that this was going to be my my last movie of my career because of the COVID thing. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I need to put my journey, and tell a beautiful story like this as a love letter to the genre films, to kind of like, this was the result of the influence of all these other inspirations, these
Mhm.
movies that inspire me, like Bruce Lee, well, Jackie Chan, and all these like Hong Kong like kung fu films,
Mhm.
that I saw when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And that's the Fist of the Condor. So it's like a Latino view of a kung fu film, with our culture, with our elements, with our
Mhm.
movements, with our characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Were you at all expecting John Wick 4 to be as insane as it was on the action front? Because
Yeah,
it's
no.
like your character alongside everybody, y'all doing some crazy stuff. Like I said, the big standout scene for me is obviously you and John going at each other in that traffic circle.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like the amount of stuff that you and Keanu were doing. Obviously, there might have been some stunt people there in the mix too, but it's just insane. Where just that scene alone, how was filming that? Like that was insane.
No, insane. I know, man. It's Well, the thing is that for me, John Wick, it's just took it to another level. Like what Chad did with Keanu in that movie, it was just amazing. It's like being part of that and see them work and see the passion behind it and how they love what they do. It's like just inspiring. And yeah, man, it's like, man, you're running against cars and like you're fighting, but you have a guy that is getting run over by a car. You have a car that is turning like this, coming towards you. Man, trust me, you gotta be focused. You need to hit your mark. If you don't hit your mark, then you're not gonna go for the
Yeah.
second take. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So it's a lot of adrenaline. It was fun, man. It was just an amazing experience.
Yeah. Lastly, seeing Chad, who was a former fight, stunt man and also a fight choreographer, and he got put into a position where he's a director and such. Do you see yourself being in that position too? Because I feel like what Chad did with these John Wick films, he was able to kind of like bring back the kind of like scenes to where you're actually seeing it and you don't see that many like cuts and stuff. You actually allow the fights to kind of like the action to basically kind of just you
Carry
know
on, yeah.
carry on the way it is. So do you see yourself in that position of actually directing a film and kind of doing the same thing?
Well, I love that, and I love because the thing is that Chad always prioritized their work with the actors,
Mhm.
right? So he hires people in his movies that he knows that they will deliver. So he just needs to show what's going on. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Instead of relying on camera tricks,
Yeah.
because he believes that at the end, man, I don't care. People today are very educated
Yeah.
about fighting.
Mhm.
Especially with the UFC and all that. So people already understand what's a leg lock, a choke, and like this and that. So they kind of feel what's effective, what's not. So it's harder. It's harder to put together a good fight scene today that was
Mhm.
before. Before you could do whatever and it worked. You
Yeah.
know. So now, so Chad is as a martial artist. Because remember, Chad is an amazing martial artist,
Oh
and
yeah.
he will always prefer to have the legit, real talent in front of the camera.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So then he doesn't limit himself with the movement and how he want to shoot it. He just wants to shoot it the best way possible to showcase that, instead of, oh, you know what, from here it's not gonna work because you can see that this guy is not so good, so then we're gonna have to cut here and maybe hide it from here, so then we
Mhm.
throw the stunt guy in and then we take cut out and then blah, blah, blah. And all the business is a boy. So that's why he makes sure all the actors train,
Mhm.
and also to cast real martial artists, to
Mhm.
have that combination, them. And that's why the John Wick is John Wick. It's
Yeah.
like, man, the fans, like, they cannot get tired of it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that come across the screen, that passion, that honesty of what you're doing, it comes across the screen. And
Oh,
I believe what Fist of the Condor is kind of the same thing. It's like, I'm a martial artist and I'm just truly doing what I love to do, you
yeah.
know and we're just putting it out there and try to be very, very honest with it. And I think that's why people are is really appreciating it,
So you
you
could
know.
definitely see yourself in that position of directing and kind of getting that kind of same mentality that Chad does at some point, probably
Exactly.
possibly.
I would love to. Yeah, of course, of course.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me because I'm always a fan of just talking to people in that genre. And like I said, seeing you, Keanu, and Scott in John Wick 4, y'all were really just doing your thing and just
Mhm.
because I mean, like I said, seeing you in John Wick 4, especially, just you definitely did stand out big time, and made a presence known. So I actually did enjoy that. So I appreciate
Thank
you
you,
taking the
man.
time to talk to me, man.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate for your time too. Thanks for the support, and because this, I want to continue the story.
Mhm.
I want to be able to continue the Fist of the Condor. So that depends on you guys that support the movie, help us to spread the word out, and hopefully we can have to continue the story.
All right, cool. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, and we will catch you guys later. Peace out.
Thanks, man.